We have an offer for you. But first, let's break down our process. So the first thing that I like to do is I just like to go into my clips and just kind of see what I get. So as you can see on this site, it's just an interior and exterior job. And we just have a bunch of clips like that are all relatively the same, but we just have different angles of the property. Yeah, just general clips. We have a couple of panning shots of the property. Just to kind of showcase what it looks like. I like to use these types of clips on nice properties to grab attention. So keep that in mind when you're filming. When you're on nice properties and you're doing nice jobs, you want to be taking videos that make the company look really good. You know, panning shots of the nice homes will hook them in. When you're inside of the house, you can take, nice clip. You want to make sure that you're asking the homeowners for permission. Another thing that I like to do is take wide angles in my clips so multiple, people can be shown. When I'm filming, I like to be as symmetrical as possible. So what I do is I make sure that like the lines inside of the windows are lined up with the camera vertically, and I make sure that where the person's at and where the window's at is balanced in the frame. These are some filming things that you can just do to make your clips look better, and I find that it makes it look more professional, but it also, hooks the viewer's attention more. Okay, so if you take a look at my script, you can see that we have a 4-step process. So we have the hook, process, offer, and CTA. And so what we're doing is we need to hook the viewer in. So we have about 5 seconds or so to actually keep their attention. And if you don't do it properly in 5 seconds, they'll just scroll away and you'll lose all of your retention. So for my personal market in the Bay Area, the word Silicon Valley represents like the tech industry in a way. And so I use this call out a lot because I believe it attracts high ticket buyers. I think people who resonate with Silicon Valley typically resonate in these nicer neighborhoods. And so I think it's sort of like a luxury call out in a lot of ways. And so that's how I use it. And so if you, in your own market, if you have that kind of thing, you could do something like that, or, do something that's local to the market that people will understand. I think that's a better way to call out than just saying the city name. I think when you say the city name, you're just immediately like making it seem like it's an ad. So next up, we have a curiosity inside of the hook. And so you can see that it says, we have an offer for you, but first let's break down our process. So that's interesting. The curiosity part of it is like saying that we have an offer, but telling them that we'll get to it next. And so they want to stay to see what the offer is. My offers are pretty consistent, and a lot of these viewers are actually already know what the offer is, but they still kind of watch to the end because they just want to see the video and they like my marketing. For the process, we start on the inside, we clean the frame, sill, and glass, we remove the screens for cleaning. So pretty simple there, just like quick explanation of what our process actually is. And then the convenience part of the process is we're able to access tall windows with ladders. And so I believe this handles the objection that like people say, oh, we'll do the inside ourselves, or we have cleaners that can do the inside. I think when you mention that you can do tall windows with ladders, if you can do it, it'll attract people with, first of all, larger houses, because those are typically the ones that have those. And people who have these tall windows on the inside that they've never been able to get to, and they don't want to go up on a ladder themselves. So that's a kind of a convenience thing. For the next part of the process, it says on the outside, we clean the frames, sills, and glass with deionized water. By scrubbing, then rinsing slowly and thoroughly, it will dry the window spot free. So again, just highlighting the process of our exterior cleaning system. And I find that works pretty well. And then we're going into safety of this process. And so we're saying that we're able to access tall windows and mitigate ladder usage overall. And so that's definitely true, right? Like we can clean a lot of the tall windows with a pole. And so we don't need to go on ladders as much. And so people like that, like homeowners want, their people on their property to be safe. And so that's kind of like an indirect way to say like we have a safe kind of operation. For the offer, we just go straight into it. We're saying we're offering the spring special. You'll get $50 off plus a free screen cleaning service on every visit. So first thing, we consistently push the spring special. That's what it's called. And so we've done that last year, and then we're doing it this year. And so that lasts from the start of spring to the end of spring. And then when it enters summer, we do the summer special, and we keep the names consistent so people can remember our ads better and they can kind of remember our offer. And then next up, inside of the offer, it says that they can get a free screen cleaning service on every visit. And I say every because what that means is, you know, it might be an incentive to actually book for recurring as opposed to one-off. So they can get, you know, this exclusive offer on every single visit as opposed to just like not getting it. So the CTA is, if you don't know what that means, is call to action. And so it's basically just telling the viewer how to take action on the offer, essentially. Doesn't have to be the offer, it could just be take action in general. And so I'm saying get started with window cleaning Bay Area. You can request a quote by clicking get quote. And then I just say talk shortly to exit it. And so again, it's super simple and there's so many variations you can make with this. A lot of times what I like to do is I like to build in stories. And so what I'll do is I'll say, today we visited Atherton, California, or wherever we are, like we visited this place. This is how the job flowed. Instead of making the hook like a direct call out on like a general location, I'll basically make the ad seem like it's a story. So I'm like telling the location of the property and then breaking down how we completed it and then giving them an offer for people who want that service as well, and then the CTA, right? So like there's different things that you can do with it. In general, this is kind of how it flows. And then when I'm editing the video, I like to figure out like which clips I want to put in based on the script. So like Silicon Valley, it's finally time to clean your property this spring season. And so for that part, I'm probably going to do just like the very quick showcase of the front of the property. Because again, we're calling out Silicon Valley, but we want to, you know, make it seem like we're calling out a particular person inside of Silicon Valley, not just Silicon Valley's location, who you're trying to attract immediately when the video starts. So that's what you want to focus on. So again, it's super quick, and I'm not even going to let it last as long as it did. I'm going to stop it right there. We're going to do, we say we have an offer for you, but first let's break down our process. So in that instance, I'm going to do this one. So Silicon Valley, it's finally time to clean your property this season. And I'm just going to cut it off right here, right as I end this first sentence. I'm gonna essentially cut this clip, so it's gonna be very quick. And again, I like to make my cuts very quick. Like I don't want to leave much time in between cuts. So what I'm gonna do is just immediately go to him squeegeeing, so it has like a continuous flow to it. So if you So I say, Silicon Valley, it's finally time to clean your property this spring season. We have an offer for you, but first let's break down our process. Right? And I cut it there. Like I'm lining up the clips with my script. And so one thing I might do as well is, because we're on the outside, so I'm actually gonna make the first clip an exterior cleaning video, because instead of going inside of the house immediately, we started on the outside, so let's just kind of slowly come into the inside. So what we'll do is we'll find a good clip. We'll use this one for the outside. Because he's right there. We're gonna cut to the squeegeeing. Silicon Valley, it's finally time to clean your property this spring season. We have an offer for you, but first let's break down our process. Okay, and so that's when I stop saying process. So as soon as we say let's break down our process, I say we start on the inside. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the clip of the fast panning motion of like the very cool inside shot. So it's gonna go, but first let's break down our process. We start on the inside. And then we say we clean the frame, sill, and glass. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna find a clip of us cleaning the frame, sill, and glass. And so this is a cool clip right here. we clean the frame, sill, and glass. We remove the screens for cleaning. And I'm going to change this part in the script. So on the inside, we clean the frame, sill, and glass using scrubbers and squeegee. Okay. And then we go on the outside. We then mention how the water-fed pole actually works. I just want to get another water-fed pole clip in. On the outside, we clean the frames, sills, and glass with deionized water. By scrubbing, then rinsing slowly and thoroughly, it will dry the window spot free. So by scrubbing, then rinsing slowly and thoroughly, and then right here I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to skip to the part when he's actually rinsing the window. So right there. So by scrubbing, then rinsing slowly and thoroughly, it will dry the window spot free. Okay, and then we're going to say, we're able to access tall windows and mitigate ladder usage overall. And then I'm just going to use this cool little outside shot. We're able to access tall windows and mitigate ladder usage overall. Okay, so going immediately into the offer, I then just want to get another nice clip in there. I like this clip because it has two technicians in one shot, and you can see the inside and the outside of the house. So I think it's kind of a cool switch up. We're offering this spring special. You'll get $50 off plus a free screen cleaning service on every visit. So I'm going to bring in the second clip when after I say screen cleaning service. We're offering this spring special. You'll get $50 off plus a free screen cleaning service on every visit. I didn't get any clips of the screen cleaning, so I can't bring it into the video. But if you had a video of screen cleaning, I would inject it there. So you can see now that we're just going to go straight into the CTA. The CTA is going to enter into the next clip. So I'm going to say, get started with window cleaning Bay Area. You can request a quote by clicking get quote. And then just one more clip on the talk shortly. Get started with window cleaning Bay Area. You can request a quote by clicking get quote. Talk shortly. So right there, I'm going to end it, but I'm going to pull a better. Okay, so now we just have to actually read the script out. So that's what I'm going to do now. It's finally time to clean your property this spring season. We have an offer for you. But first, let's break down our process. On the inside, we clean the frames, sills, and glass using scrubbers and squeegees. On the outside, we clean the frames, sills, and glass with deionized water. By scrubbing, then rinsing slowly and thoroughly, it will dry the window spot free. We're able to access tall windows and mitigate ladder usage overall. We're offering the spring special. You'll get $50 off plus a free screen cleaning service on every visit. Get started with window cleaning Bay Area. You can request a quote by clicking get quote. Talk shortly. So after doing the voiceover, you can see that the clips perfectly matched up, to be honest. This is really going to be very minimal editing that actually really needs to go into this. We're just going to make a couple of cuts into the audio, and then we're going to add some captions, and then we're going to get ready to put this onto Ad Manager. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come up to text, and we're going to create captions from transcript. And the settings that I like to use in Premiere Pro are 25, 1.5, single, and then you just want to select the track that your audio is on. Silicon Valley, it's finally time to... I like to use these captions. I use inter, and I use semi-bold. I like to go to 60. And then from here, I'll go to 400, or is it 300? Let's do 250. And then the stroke, I like to go here. Then if I'm using 60 pixel text, I like to use 6 pixels for my stroke. And then for the shadows, you kind of just want to configure whatever feels nice to you, but I like to kind of come here, increase it a little bit, and then make it pop like that. Silicon Valley. And then I'll reduce the opacity a little bit. Valley, it's finally time to clean your property this spring season. We have an offer for you. But first, let's break down our process. On the inside, we clean the frames, sills, and glass using scrubbers and squeegees. On the outside, we clean the frames, sills, and glass with deionized water. By scrubbing, then rinsing slowly and thoroughly, it will dry the window spot free. We're able to access tall windows and mitigate ladder usage overall. We're offering the spring special. You'll get $50 off plus a free screen cleaning service on every visit. Get started with window cleaning Bay Area. You can request a quote by clicking Get Quote. Talk shortly. Okay, so at this point, this ad is honestly good to publish. So I'll just export it. I use Adobe Media Encoder to export my videos. And I like to keep very consistent naming conventions as well for my videos because I do like to test a bunch of videos. And so I think you should do that as well, just keeping your videos, named, and also naming your scripts and matching them so you can go back in time and, kind of reference scripts. Okay, to start, we have a lead campaign. It's a very simple setup on ad set budget. And then you'll see that we have a 3-video, 1% lookalike customer list. And so what this title is doing is it's just saying that we're going to have 3 videos inside of this ad set. And the audience that we're using is a 1% lookalike of my customer list from all of the customers that have paid me in the past. So I pulled that list directly from Jobber. I uploaded it into the audience section of Facebook Ad Manager. I allowed the custom audience to populate with my list. After it populated, I created a lookalike audience on 1% for that customer match list. And then when we create the ad set, we're essentially filtering it out by location. For our lead event, we are using Conversion API. So I have my Go High Level account connected to Meta Ad Manager. And what this does is it allows me to tell Meta who's actually submitting leads based on contact information, first name, email, street address, the city. And then I can also tell Meta when leads convert to assessment schedules with the schedule event. And then I can also tell Meta how many purchases I'm getting from specific people and what is the amount of that. And then I can use the amount to track what my ROAS is. And so ROAS stands for return on ad spend. So I can figure out how much money are my ads, spending for, but how much is it generating me, right? And so I can do that through the Conversion API. So I highly recommend you set that up if you can. You're going to need a sales platform or some way to feed data to Meta. If you don't want to set that up, then you can just create a lead event using a pixel if you're doing it through your website, or you can do instant forms. I do recommend instant forms early on, but eventually I think you should upgrade to a nice website funnel. I think that improves the quality of the lead significantly. For our budget, we're just going to start off at $30 per day on this campaign. And based on how well the ads do inside of the campaigns, I'll cut specific ads if there's a certain one that's doing really well. And then I'll scale the budget of the ad set after there's been, at least 25 to 30 conversions. And I'll scale it by $5 per day until I get to 45. And then I will stop for a bit, and then I'll scale it from $5 until I get to 55. And then I just keep going until I feel like it's not really worth running anymore. For our audience, my location is the Bay Area. So I'm going to do Santa Clara County and then San Mateo County. So I like to keep it super broad. Obviously my market's super big, but you can see that we can get more controls. I like to set my minimum age to $25. And then I'm not going to exclude anything. I am going to suggest an audience, and that audience suggestion is going to be my lookalike 1% of all of my active WCBA customers. So I'm just going to click on that. And then this is a high value list. And so I ping that because the reason it's high value is because these are people that have actually paid me. And so I know it's going to hit people. I know it's going to hit the same customers that I've had before, but it's also going to hit like their friends and stuff like that. Because again, we're feeding Meta the contact information for these customers. And so they're able to compare that to their accounts, and then they can find people similar to them through their accounts. And so that's super cool, but you can actually do that. So if you haven't done that already, if you have a large customer list, I do suggest that you upload it into Meta, and then you create a lookalike audience. For placements, I like to remove Messenger, Audience Network, and Threads. So I like to stick to just Facebook and Instagram. And then I like to turn off allow limited spend to excluded placements. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that I have my conversion location set to website. If you don't have a website form, then I recommend that you just use instant forms, but you set up your instant form to look really good. I don't recommend doing both. I would say stick to one or the other. My advice to you is if you have a good quality website, then you should build out a good quality funnel, and then you should funnel this traffic to that website. This is good because you can connect it to platforms like Google Analytics, where you can actually figure out like how many people are going through your funnel, and you can figure out bottlenecks and actually optimize your funnel for the most amount of leads possible and the best quality leads. So there's a lot more that you can do with website leads. So I think it's better, but if you're starting out, then I recommend instant forms, and that's how I started out for probably my first like 350 to 500 leads. You can see that my website URL is just my website and then my request estimate page. And then what I'm going to do is, since I have it connected to my Go High Level pipeline, I can actually connect UTM parameters. So I can actually tell Go High Level basically where my where my leads are coming from. And what this does is I can basically attribute leads came from which ad, which is valuable for me. I like to be able to track it based on, campaigns and ad sets. I also use UTM parameters to change how the form is structured on my website. So if it's a meta form, then I can change it. If you know how to do that, then I actually highly recommend you set this up, but this is not required if you're just starting out. All right, so we got the video in. Our headlines are spring special, get $50 off every visit. And then we have get $50 off and a free screen cleaning. Our description is just servicing Santa Clara and San Mateo counties. Our call to action, like we said in the video, is get quote. And now we're going to create the primary text. Okay, so you can see that for our primary text, we just went straight into the offer. So we made that clear at the very beginning that there is a spring special and you'll get $50 off plus a free screen cleaning service on every visit. And the reason that I'm doing this is because we say that there's an offer, but we want them to wait. And what this is doing is it's giving them the offer immediately for those who do not want to wait. And so people who want to watch the video will, and then people who want to just see the offer will scroll unless they don't get it immediately. So I do give it to them immediately. And so I also think it's also just good to, promote your offers early in your copy, because you want people to be aware that you are offering something. You don't want, them to have to read all the way through just to see it, or wait till the very end of the video just to see it. So next up, we say if you're living in Silicon Valley, then you know that construction pollen and dirt has built up on your windows. So again, we're just calling out the location and we're calling out the problem as well. And then it says, it's finally the spring season. Are you ready? And then next up, we say, it's finally the spring season. Are you ready to clean your windows and enhance views? So we're asking them a question, are you ready to do this? Because it's finally time to do this. And then we just build trust, saying that we're fully licensed and insured, and we work with homeowners across the Bay Area. And then we have, right now, we're offering our spring special. You'll get $50 off plus a free screen cleaning service on every visit. So just, again, reiterating the offer. And then it says, if you'd like to request a quote, then click get quote. We'll send it over shortly. Thanks, Window Cleaning Bay Area. So then we're just reiterating the CTA. If you take a look at my ad, it just looks really good on Ad Manager. It's really nice editing. It flows smoothly, and people want to watch these videos. And so that's one of the reasons why they perform so well. So that's pretty much the extent of how I set up my ads. All you would have to do from here is click publish. My recommendation to you is create a lead campaign, get an ad set, put 3 videos in that ad set, and figure out how you want to make your creatives structured so that you can actually create ad sets and test. So you don't just want to make videos and throw them into ad sets. You want to be structured with the way that you're making your videos. So maybe one ad set is specific to one service, the other ad set specific to another. Or maybe you have an ad set where you're doing, like a voiceover video like this one, or you're going to do like an in-person headshot one and you're going to test the different creative. So you want to be testing always, but this is really the framework to how I actually create my ads and upload my ads. It's not a super complicated process. It's really just about getting really nice quality clips and having good quality scripts, and then good editing, good pacing in your videos. And then you can let Meta do the rest in terms of putting it on. So yeah, if you guys would actually want me to run your ads, I can do that for you. You can visit my website, fieldonboard.com. You can book a demo. We can discuss like marketing needs. If you want me to maybe build out your website, I could do that for you as well. Again, I could set up Go High Level into your business. I could run all of your ads, edit all of your ads. You could also use my platform, Field Onboard. If you're a Jobber user, you can connect to my platform, Field Onboard, to actually automate the sending of service agreements, which is something that I talk about a lot. So if that's something that you're interested in, just go ahead and go to fieldonboard.com, book a demo, and we could work together. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Bye.